History. The frictional force of aerodynamic drag increases significantly with vehicle speed. 1. As early as the 1920s, engineers began to consider automobile shape in reducing aerodynamic drag at higher speeds. By the 1950s, German and British automotive engineers were systematically analyzing the effects of automotive drag for the higher performance vehicles. 2. By the late 1960s, scientists also became aware of the significant increase in sound levels emitted by automobiles at high speed. These effects were understood to increase the intensity of sound levels for adjacent land uses at a nonlinear rate. 3. Soon highway engineers began to design roadways to consider the speed effects of aerodynamic drag-produced sound levels, and automobile manufacturers considered the same factors in vehicle design. Features of aerodynamic vehicles. Features of aerodynamic vehicles. An aerodynamic automobile will integrate the wheel arcs and lights into the overall shape to reduce drag. It will be streamlined, for example, it does not have sharp edges crossing the windstream above the windshield, and will feature a sort of tail called a fastback or comeback or liftback. Note that the Aptra 2E, the Lormo, and the Volkswagen XL1 try to reduce the area of their back. It will have a flat and smooth floor to support the Venturi effect and produce desirable downwards aerodynamic forces. Is used for cooling, combustion, and for passengers, then reaccelerated by a nozzle and then ejected under the floor. For mid and rear engines, air is decelerated and pressurized in a diffuser, loses some pressure as it passes the engine bay, and fills the slipstream. These cars need a seal between the low-pressure region around the wheels and the high pressure around the gearbox. They all have a closed engine bay floor. The suspension is either streamlined, Aptra, or retracted. Door handles, the antenna, and roof rails can have a streamlined shape. The side mirror may only have a round fairing as a nose. Airflow through the wheelbase is said to increase drag. German source. Though race cars need it for brake cooling and many cars emit the air from the radiator into the wheel bay. Aerodynamics is extremely important to get past that limiting barrier that you go through all the time on the highway. Although spoilers may be desirable and increase handling and downforce, the limiting factor is that spoilers make aerodynamics come to play quicker, but decreases aerodynamic function by the bulky shape moving through the air. Comparison with aircraft aerodynamics. Automotive aerodynamics differs from aircraft aerodynamics in several ways. First, the characteristic shape of a road vehicle is much less streamlined compared to an aircraft. Second, the vehicle operates very close to the ground, rather than in free air. Third, the operating speeds are lower, and aerodynamic drag varies as the square of speed. Fourth, a ground vehicle has fewer degrees of freedom than an aircraft, and its motion is less affected by aerodynamic forces. Fifth, passenger and commercial ground vehicles have very specific design constraints such as their intended purpose, high safety standards, requiring, for example, more dead structural space to act as crumple zones, and certain regulations.